Micah. Good to see you. We're going to go ahead and just jump right into questions. Thanks.
Hey, Micah. I want to ask a lot about the Team USA experience,
Sure.
but can I first ask about where Cooper Flagg is as a player and prospect right now?
He's legit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously he's young, and I think the biggest thing for him is physical development. I think that's pretty evident, but his confidence level and skill level it surprised everyone, and I mean everyone, like coaches, players. It was very evident that he was legit. So I hope he does well. I hope he stays healthy because I think he'll be a lot of fun to play with or against in the NBA for a long time.
What does being in that scenario do for you as a player and your confidence coming into this year?
It does so much. So going into that situation, first of all, because I had no idea it was even going to happen, so it was kind of a last-second thing. So going in there, I was not really sure what it was going to be or how it was going to be. And so that first day, I was really kind of just trying to figure things out and what my role was going to be, what they wanted me to do, because it was a little bit different than a normal select team situation. But I would say by day 2 was when I started to kind of figure things out a little bit as far as how it was going to be. And so then I could just really embrace it and just have fun and enjoy it and be competitive. And so from there, because in Vegas, there really wasn't a whole lot of reps for us, the 3 of us that were traveling. But after that, everything opened up and it was just us. So there was a lot of reps in practice and in games, obviously, too. So being able to go there, play against those guys in practice, they're the best players in the world and some of them ever. And so being able to show that I can play in that kind of an environment kind of proved that I belonged. I already had the belief that I belonged in the NBA, but playing against those guys in that kind of an environment was just the icing on the cake. I belong here.
Did you get a medal?
Not yet.
But you're supposed to?
I don't know. It was kind of like an up in the air situation. Because again, I didn't going into the whole thing. I didn't know if we were even going to dress, let alone play. And so I didn't find out that I was dressing until he's the director, Sean Ford, texted me at noon the day of the first game in Vegas. Oh yeah, you guys are going to dress. I'm like, oh okay, cool. So walking in there, I'm going to dress. I've got the Team USA jersey with my name on it. That's enough. But then the fourth quarter comes around, we're up big, and and then they start calling us. I'm like, oh shoot, here we go. So I really didn't know what to expect. So I was told that there's a chance that I might get a medal. I'm not expecting one. The trip alone itself was enough. But I got some cool tokens. The whole team signed my one white jersey that I wore in the games that I played in, and then LeBron gave me a pair of his game-worn shoes with a note to me because we're both from Northeast Ohio. So we kind of made that connection and kind of had a little bond over that. So I got a lot of good trophies from that. If I got a medal, that would be unreal. But I think how the Olympics work, not even the coaches get medals. So I don't know if Team USA normally makes them a medal later on, but then you won't be able to get the Eiffel Tower in it. So it's not really a real medal. But like I said, the experience itself was amazing, and I got some cool trophies from it. So I'm happy regardless.
What was the conversations like with your family when you first found out that you were going?
Just stunned. Because again, I had no idea. I had no previous connection with Team USA. And it's just one of those things, I was going into year 4, and normally the select team guys are kind of first or second year guys, and they're kind of the more prominent names. I was okay, how do I fit into this? But I guess it was through Wojo was the initial connection because he's got a lot of USA connections. And I guess he recommended me for it, and because they wanted a guy that was going to be able to be competitive, play hard, and also was going to be as low maintenance as possible. So not asking questions, not causing problems, just kind of being there on time, doing what I'm supposed to do. So that's kind of how it worked. But my family, when I told them, they were just like, what in the world? It's because at that point, the team had already been selected. So everyone knew who was on the team. So they were just going nuts. And so there's a lot of intimate details that happened, but it was just kind of stunned. They were stunned. They were in awe, happy, excited. There's so many emotions that go into it.
Finally, I want to ask, you mentioned that day 2 you kind of figured it out, and then there were moments where you're like, okay, I belong, I can play against these guys. Are there moments that stick out in your head, a specific play or something where you're like, yeah, I got that one?
Yeah. In practice, there were multiple situations. In Abu Dhabi, for example, pretty much my role, what it was if guys, because Joel was on a low-key minute restriction coming off of his surgery, so in practice. And so there was one situation where he had to come out for a couple of plays to let his knee rest. And I went in and I played. I was guarding LeBron, and I'm not going to give details, but I guarded LeBron in a very confident and good way, to the point where like nothing, like screw it. I made him turn the ball over, and he tried to post me up, couldn't back me down, and it's LeBron James. He's like one of the strongest dudes in the NBA. And then go down the next possession. I actually had to flip teams because AD got a big cut on his arm. So I flipped over to their team, and I was playing with them. They get it out, in transition, draw a foul, get a couple assists, set good screens, like things like that. Like I was never the guy, obviously, on that team, but just being able to fill a role and like the speed of the game, the physicality, being able to play in that and be confident in that. I would say that. But then the biggest thing for me that was kind of like, wow, this is really cool, was my first shot that I hit in Vegas. That was kind of like, because again, I had no idea I was going to play. I go in there, Drew hits me in the corner, and you drill that stuff over and over and over again. So it was kind of a second nature thing just to shoot the ball. But then it went in. And so that was kind of the thing where I was like, okay, here we go. Like, settle down, just enjoy the whole situation.
People say there's like a different level of preparation or whatever it is for those top guys. Mm-hmm. Is that, first of all, is that real? Is that true? Is that something you noticed? And if so, like what in particular?
Absolutely. Okay, so just because there were a lot of guys that I was trying to watch, Steph, KD, and LeBron were the big ones, right? Just because they've been around the longest, they were kind of like the OG or vets on that team. KD was a little bit different because he was hurt early on, so he was just kind of doing rehab stuff. But LeBron and Steph, the work they put in. So LeBron, like, he is on the training table getting work done 90 minutes, like a total of 90 minutes before practice. He does it again after practice. And, like, so the way he takes care of his body, and then it was funny, I was talking with a security guard, just talking about how, like, he sleeps, but it's more of naps than, like, long periods of time. So, like, he'll sleep for, like, 3 hours and then be up. And then he'll sleep for another 3 hours and then be up. Like, it's kind of a weird situation. It works for him. He's, for as long as he's played and as well as he's played for that long, like, good for him. I don't know if I could do that, but it works for him. Steph, it's a very similar thing. He's on the table very early, getting work done, taking care of his body. But then afterwards, his shooting routines that he goes through post-practice are awesome. And that's something that I tried to model after him, was just because his pace is incredible. Every rep that he does is either game speed or faster to make things in games slower. So, and it's depending on, how tough the practice was, whether there's a game the next day or not, the routine changes a little bit. But every rep is game speed or faster. He does this, at minimum, it's like 30 minutes. And it's so fun to watch just because his shooting is incredible. So the amount of shots that he hits in a row are awesome from all these different movement situations. It was so fun to watch. But I would say those are the biggest things that I picked up. And so, yes, it's very real, like the preparation these guys have.
All right. Thank you so much, Micah.
Cool.
Thank you.